everyone. Welcome. My name is Renee, and this class is Flow and Align. So for today's class, we are going to continue our walk through Yin Yoga for the 8 limbs. So we've looked at the yamas, which represents our outer selves, how we present ourselves to the world. And we've been working lately on the niyamas. And the niyamas are more of our inner observances, our kind of looking in and turning that lens inward on ourselves. And so for today's practice, we are focusing in on tapas. And tapas means heat. So what does that mean for us, right? So with heat, it's about pursuing goals, lighting that fire, stoking that fire that burns and fuels our passions. And so with today's practice, we are going to be focusing on postures and movements that are going to get us focused in on lighting that fire. It's going to burn a little hotter than Yin typically does. So it's finding the yin and the yang a little bit. So we are going to be doing some postures that are gonna build up heat, but we're going to find that yin within it, right? And really look into softening, relaxing, and making sure that we find that point where we can let go and just be and allow the posture to work its magic through our body, nourish our fascia, really nourish our tissues and our joints and our ligaments. And that's really setting us up, this optimal health, promoting movement for optimal health is really setting us up for success as we go out into the world and pursue our passions. So for today's practice, we are going to, I always recommend having just a cadre of props available, just because they're always really great to help support and get you comfortable in the position, because yoga, it isn't about how you look, but it's really about how you feel. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing supports to your comfort as you need them. Today, primarily, we're going to be using blanket and blocks. But I do recommend, if you have it, just have like an extra blanket on hand. I've got one rolled up here, just as a potential neck roll at some point during the practice. If I find I want to have a support on my neck, I'll bring that into play. So, you might want to just have an extra blanket or two around, not only for things like cushion and support, but you can also utilize it to substitute for, say, if we're doing something that requires a bolster, but you don't have a bolster, you can stack up a couple of blankets. Also, bath towels are a great substitute. And speaking of bath towels, bolster, always great to have one on hand. If you don't have a bolster, then a couch cushion will do, or again, a couple of bath towels are always great. And then for Shavasana, I just recommend having an eye pillow. They're just really wonderful and really help deepen the relaxation. If you don't have an eye pillow, a face cloth will do. Just fold it up, place it over your eyes. You just want to have that, not only that darkness, but that little tiny bit of pressure that just allows you to just deepen into your relaxation. And then of course your blocks. Today we're going to be using blocks quite a bit, so definitely have these on hand and at the ready. If you don't have blocks, of course something of similar size, ilk will work. And then lastly, of course, if you have some music that you enjoy, please do feel free to play your music. Have it on in the background. Just be sure that you have your volume nearby so you can adjust the volume at any time so you can always hear the sound of my voice and when I cue in and out of postures. So we are going to begin in seated meditation, just to get ourselves centered and in practice. So go ahead and have a seat on a support. Now I've got a blanket here, but I actually think I'm gonna switch it up here. And I am going to utilize the bolster and get a little extra height here. We are going to be starting in butterfly, or also known as Baddha Konasana. So I recommend that you have a pretty tall support unless you've got a lot of opening in your, if you've got a lot of ease in external rotation, you're gonna want to have, if you don't have a lot of ease in external rotation, you're gonna wanna have a higher support so you can really roll forward and then get those knees down. They don't have to come to the ground, but you do want to have them at a comfortable height. Now, if you're sitting on a support like a blanket and you find that your knees are kind of hovering, but you want to have a little extra underneath them, then go ahead and use your blocks to fill that space, and just set them there, and that'll allow your legs to relax into the posture. Because again, with yin, we want to be able to find that stillness and find that point of relaxation. So what you want to do is just make sure that on your support you are rolled forward, tilted a little bit forward on the pelvis and rolling that sacrum forward a little bit, and then making sure you've got a nice long line of energy, a nice tall spine to start. And then go ahead and take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, go ahead and begin to lean forward, and you'll find that if you're on the edge of a support like a bolster or like the corner of a blanket, you'll find that your sacrum will stay nice and with that natural tilt, and then you can lean forward. And then as you exhale, go ahead and just round that spine, get a little back massage. Just go ahead and allow yourself to sink in to the posture. Just go ahead and close your eyes or soften your gaze. And begin to turn your lens inward. Turn the eye of your awareness in on yourself. Begin to really think about and consider your goals. What moves you? What inspires you? And then as you sit and bring yourself here to land in this space right here, right now, I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. And just tune into your breath. Feel your inhales and your exhales.
turn that light of awareness in on that little flame that sits right in the middle of your heart. What is moving you? What is fueling you? And as you center in, just be sure to take a moment to thank yourself for being here today. Thank your body for all of the amazing things that it does. And really allow and make space for that fire to burn. You'll be feeling it in your inner thigh. Really nourish that awareness. And remember, with yin, it's not about a strong sensation. You want to go about 60, 70%, relatively speaking. It's different for everybody. But you want to find that nice tug, that sensation in the point of stretch. So you know that your fascia is getting that nourishment, getting that nice bit of stretch, and that bit of tension that it needs to rehydrate and nourish. Beautiful. Very slowly, take a nice deep inhale in. Nice deep exhale out. And on your next inhale, just begin to slowly roll up the back. Take this moment. Just go ahead and stretch your legs out long for just a moment. Just feel the hydration move into the legs. Bring those legs back in. And go ahead and roll forward onto your hands and knees. I'm going to turn to the side here. If you've got a support that you were sitting on, just go ahead and move it out of the way. And find yourself in tabletop. Now be sure to bring your blocks nearby. Just find yourself in tabletop. Now here, go ahead and take a nice deep inhale and drop that belly, lift that chin. Just exhale out, round the back, drop the head. Just a couple cat-cows, just to nourish the spine. We nourished it a little bit with our rolling forward, but we just want to promote that lubrication through the spine. Beautiful. And now go ahead and come back to tabletop and find stillness. And now from here, begin to come forward into a low plank. So You've got your toes on the ground, and you've got a nice long line of energy here. So if you were to come up in plank, you'd be here. We're in kind of a low supported plank, and just hold here and breathe. And just consider, as you feel the heat rise in your body, just think about your heart's desires. Breathe into it. Allow this heat to raise your vibration. Now as you inhale, go ahead and slowly lower down, just about halfway. And then exhale on up. And hold and breathe. Beautiful. Again, lower on down. And then lift it on up. Beautiful. Hold and breathe. And again, allow that fire to burn. Feel that heat build in the body. And then this third time, go ahead and lower it all the way down very slowly. Beautiful. Beautiful job. Now go ahead and find yourself nice and comfortable on your belly. And then bring your arms behind you. If you can, clasp them, setting up for locust. And on your inhale, go ahead and inhale, lift the body up, hold and breathe here. Again, let this lifting raise that vibration in your body. Feel that heat burn. One more breath. And then go ahead and lower it on down. Just bring your forehead down to your hands and crocodile. Just hold here. Just let the sensations of the movements that we've done so far just land in your body. And remember, your goal is to find the yin and the yang. So when you get into locust, how can you soften and hold? So go ahead and setting up for round two. Bring the hands behind the back. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift. Breathe here. Feel that fire burning bright in the heart. One more breath. And now lower it on down back to your crocodile. Again, letting it land in your body. Feeling the heat. Setting up for our third and final round. Let this be your best locust. Go ahead and bring those arms behind the back. Clasp the hands if you can. And on your inhale, inhale and lift. Breathe here. Think about your intention. Think about your goals. What can you do? What can you bring from this that will carry that forward? One more breath. And go ahead and release on down to crocodile. Allow that to land in the body. And then go ahead and bring those hands side to side. And then go ahead and drop those hips back into child's pose and take whatever arm variation you like. Go ahead on your next inhale, come on up to hands and knees. And make sure that you've got your blocks nearby. And on your next inhale, tuck those toes, lift those hips, come into down dog. Beautiful. Just hold and breathe here. On your next inhale, bring that right leg up to the sky. Then exhale and bring that foot through into a low flying dragon. So just a low lunge. Set up for your low lunge. Now find the block height that feels most comfortable. When I have a nice dip in the hips, but you also want to make sure that your body is more upright and that you've got a nice contraction in your torso, in your abs. Again, stoking that fire, breathing here. If you find that you're having some discomfort under the back knee, you can always bring a blanket underneath the knees to support. Anytime we're in a kneeling position and you find that you need support there, please do bring the blanket for extra cushion. I've got a pretty thick mat that's on top of another mat, so I typically don't use cushion, but I am sensitive to the fact that, you know, it can be a little challenging on the knees sometimes, especially when you're in postures where you're on your knees for a long period of time. Beautiful. So hold and breathe. Breathe into that stretch. And remember, again, this is about stoking that fire. Really just allow the sensation to land in the body, not too intense. Beautiful. Now on your next exhale, go ahead and release your hands from the blocks, but sink in to this hip a little bit deeper and begin to move that right foot out to the side. Bring your hands to the inside of the foot for your traditional dragon. Low-flying dragon. I think I called the first one low-flying. The first one that we did was high-flying dragon. This is low-flying dragon. Let's go ahead and breathe into the posture.
Again, just really think about your intentions for your practice. Think about raising that vibration, and also think about setting boundaries. What boundaries can you set around your actions and your thoughts that are going to help you achieve your goals? Beautiful. A couple more breaths here. And now on your next inhale, begin to bring the weight of your body into your left hand and bring up your right arm and then place it on that knee and really twist out to the side for Twisted Dragon. Get a nice rotation in that torso. Hold and breathe here. Beautiful. Now, if you're finding it hard to stay up on your wrist, if you're having wrist issues, you can go ahead and place it on a block. That will help take some of the pressure off. You can also come down to your elbow. That'll help take the pressure off as well. Beautiful. Hold and breathe here. Beautiful job. Breathe into it. Excellent job. Now turn back to center. Your blocks, with your blocks nearby, go ahead and raise on up. And then begin to bring that right leg out into a dragon split. Beautiful. So this is not quite like Hanumasana, where we're a little bit more lean forward than that. Half Hanuman, where you're leaning down over the foot. This is more promoting a split. So you want to make sure you've got a nice separation. Just breathe into it. Beautiful. It's helpful to have the blocks on the highest height. And you're looking for that sensation, not only in your left leg, but also in your hamstring on your right leg. But again, it's not a sharp, deep stretch. It's just that tug. Just feel that tensioning up of the fascia. And be sure not to lock that right knee. Keep a little bit of bend in it. Beautiful. Deep breath in. And on your next exhale, press into those hands. Bring that knee back. And come back and sit
on your heels in Thunderbolt. Just take this moment to just notice the differences between the two sides of the body. Breathe into that heat that's built up into the body. Beautiful. When you're ready, go ahead and begin to walk those hands forward. Find your tabletop. Get a nice contraction in those abs. Tuck those toes. Inhale, lift those hips, come into your down dog. Just kind of pedal the feet. Neutralize up those hips. Beautiful. Go ahead and inhale that left leg up to the sky. And then exhale, go ahead and step it on through and come into your high flying dragon. So your high lunge. And again, just finding that sensation in the hips. Probably want your block on the highest height. And then finding that yin and the yang. Find that stillness and hold and breathe. Beautiful. Again, turning your awareness back inside, back on your intention. Speaking about your goals, your heart's desire, setting boundaries, taking steps. Beautiful. Hold and breathe here. Deep breath in, and just begin to bring that left arm in, bring that left leg out, start to walk it towards the corner of your mat, and find yourself in low flying dragon. And again, this can be on your elbows, you can use your props. And be mindful that the two sides of the body might have a little bit of a different sensation. There might be a little bit of tightness on one side. So be aware of that and how that lands in your body. So if you need to work on one side a little bit longer than the other, be mindful of that. You want to bring the body back into symmetry. Breathe here. Feel that fire burn. What is speaking to you now in your heart? that you did on the other side. So if you had a support under your elbow, go ahead and use that support again. If you came down to your elbow, just to the ground. Again, finding that yin and the yang. Hold and breathe here. You want to make sure you've got your leg twisted out to the side. You've got a nice rotation in that torso. So when you have good rotation in your torso, I'm going to switch to the other side here just quickly so you can see. I don't have my back to you. You can see me from the front, but when you've got that rotation in the torso and you've got that edge of the foot a little bit on, you're rolling a little bit on the edge of that left foot, got that rotation in the torso, you're really alleviating some of the extra pressure on the hip and on the psoas, on the hip flexor. So you want to really twist, breathe into the twist. Beautiful. A couple more breaths here. I'm going to switch back around to the other side. And then from your twist, go ahead and come up. And then find yourself on the highest step here. And then begin to walk that front leg forward for your dragon split. Again, a little bit different than Hanumasana, very similar, so a hair bit of a different body position. Just feel that gentle tug, back of the hamstring. You've got that little bit of a gentle tug in the front of the opposite hip. So you've got a nice sensation going both ways. And again, this isn't meant to be deep. This isn't trying to get into a full stretch. This is really just to promote that hydration. It's to promote that stoking of the fire. This isn't about range of motion. This is about nourishment. And just be sure that you're maintaining a nice, strong core. You don't want the belly to collapse here. Even though this is yin, our relaxation is focused in our hip area, our hamstrings and hips, but you want to maintain that tight core to protect the back. Here. And your next inhale, go ahead and bring the knee back to meet the other. Go ahead and sink back onto those hips. Go ahead and lower all the way down into child's pose. And just allow the arms to drape lazily by the sides. Allow that full rounding of the back, the
Release the low back. Neutralizing the hips. Bringing the body back into symmetry, back into balance. Beautiful. Your next inhale.
And roll up to thunderbolt. Just bring your hands, just clasp them between your lap, in your lap. Just breathe here for a few moments. Quiet contemplation. Sensations that you're having today. Beautiful. Now for this next one, grab one of your blankets. You want to have this kind of as a little bit of a pillow. Have one of your blocks nearby. And kind of roll forward on your belly. We're going to set up your half frog here on each side. And now for this half frog, you have a couple of options here. So you can go ahead and bring one leg out to the side, one knee, and then let's go ahead and sensation here. Now you're welcome to have a blanket or not. It's completely up to you. I kind of prefer it, but it's just completely about your comfort and what will help you stay. Now you have the option, if you'd like, to bring this knee up on the block to intensify the sensation, if you'd like. It's going to be purely a choice thing. Just make sure that your knee is properly supported. If you choose the route of the block. You can also use a blanket or a bolster. Bolster might be a little high. Go ahead and sink into the position, and now you're welcome to either turn your head to the side or keep your head facing down. And just allowing yourself to land here and really finding that sensation. Again, it's not a deep stretch, so you're not going to feel a huge deep stretch. But it's just that gentle tugging.
in. As you exhale, go ahead and bring that right leg in. And just come into your crocodile for a few moments. Notice how different the body feels on both sides.
Now bringing it back to balance, go ahead and transition over to the left. I'm gonna turn around the other way. But from where you're at, just go ahead and lift your left knee. Bring it up to the side again. If you used a prop on one side, I suggest maintaining that balance and doing that on the other side as well. And of course, head position is completely up to you. Just find that stillness, comfort in the position so you can hold. As you land here, just think about what is it that you need to help you clear obstacles to reach your goal. As you feel that release in the hip, what can you release? What obstacles can you release? Just give your body and your mind a few moments of silence. Just to listen for the answer. Hold and breathe here. Couple more breaths. A nice deep inhale in. As you exhale, go ahead and remove that block or your prop. Bring that knee back in. Come into your crocodile. And from here, go ahead and push on up to tabletop. And then go ahead and set those hips back. Come back into child's pose. slide those feet out in front of you. And just begin to slowly transition onto your back. And go ahead and bring both knees into the chest. And your next inhale, grab the soles of those feet. And then your exhale, pull down on those soles for happy baby. Just breathe here. Feel the low back and the hips release. All that work we did there today. Just breathe into it. This pose is a really wonderful deep hip opener. Really amazing release at the end of the practice. And just breathe into it. Go ahead and release the soles of the feet and just let them float up to the ceiling. And then legs up a wall, just to let them relax there. You can kind of turn your knees just ever so slightly. The soles of the feet, the two big toes, let them kind of turn in towards each other. The knees turn in towards each other, just ever so slightly. It'll help you find balance. So you can just allow the hips to land and rest and just let the legs effortlessly float. And your next inhale, go ahead and bring those knees into the chest. And if you need a prop or something to get comfortable in your Shavasana, now's the time to grab it. Maybe a bolster for the knees, a blanket roll for the neck. One more inhale and squeeze. And then exhale and release your legs down. Come into your Shavasana. If you have an eye pillow, I highly recommend it. Deepen the relaxation. Sink into the earth. Just let your body land heavily on the ground, allowing everything else to support you so you can release and let go.
light just behind the heart. And that's that fire that we lit today. Allow that fire to burn. Let it fuel you towards more. Fuel you towards your goals. Let it also be a guide, a reminder to let your heart lead. For your mind to be ever mindful of all that it does. I invite you to stay here in Shavasana for as long as you'd like. And as you continue in your rest, please be sure to thank yourself for showing up here today and doing something